How's she going? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's workshop. It's kind of an overcast, windy day here today, so I apologize for any wind noise. But who's ever looking after the weather is not doing a very good job, because they forgot to cancel the wind and they forgot to order the nice weather. But it's, you know, it's getting on the end of April, so I'm sure the nice weather is just around the corner. I hope so, because we can show you some. Anyway, what we're up to today is I'm going to start to take some of the winter gear off my tractor. All right, so I have the tractor out here. I'm going to take the wings off the blade. I'm not sure if I'm going to take the blade off just yet, because I may need that for some grading. So I want to take the wings off. Also I want to take the front chains off. But I'm going to leave the back chains on because I'll be doing a lot of yard work, a lot of pushing and dragging and hauling logs and stuff. So I want to keep the chains on the back. But I'm going to do a quick examination too of these wings to see how they made out. Like, I only plowed with them, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times. But I was plowing some pretty heavy wet snow with them, so let's have a look. This wing on this side looks like it's pushed out a little bit. And even if you see here on this brace, when I first installed that brace, that whole flat surface was against the wing. Now it's pulled in, so this is very thin wall pipe that I have here, and it looks like it bends pretty easy. When I look back here, the wooden block that I made for the spacer, it's split. Now this wooden block here, you have to remember back, I'll put a link to the video where I was having some difficulties with the wings where they failed the first time. But when it first broke, this wing cracked and I never ever replaced it. I just left it as is, but it looks like there was a weak point in it, especially when the strength of that front brace was not quite up to snuff, so this cracked and split open. So I have to make a new block for there, and I'm going to have to come up with some other idea maybe for these wings. I'm not sure what that'll be, or for the brace I mean. And if you look on this side, the same sort of thing was happening over here. The wing was being pushed out, so this part of the brace bent. So I don't know, those red pieces of pipe maybe not the answer. So if you look back here, my wooden brace, my wooden spacer here held up good, but there was a little bit of play in that, and that's why this wing was able to move out, displaced like that to the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these nuts and bolts out of here to free up this brace, and then just see how wobbly the wing is. So we'll just take this off. The brace is still pretty tight on the wing, although it's been bent back a little bit because the wing has been forced out. But you see, the wing is not loose, so I'm not sure whether, I think that's okay. Anyway, let's go check the other side, see what it's like. The brace is still tight on the wing, other than it being bent. That's the only thing, right? And that's pretty tight too. So I'm thinking if I just replace this spacer and maybe stiffen up these braces somehow, I'm not sure how I'll do that, but I'll come up with something, I'm sure. So I need to take these off. So I have this clip here, and that pin is pretty tight there, but I need a nut and a bolt. I need wrenches to take this out. So I better go get those. So you can see how that's split now here. A little better, eh? Split right across there, so that needs to get replaced for sure. So when I loosen up that bottom bolt, this becomes pretty floppy up here, but I think that's because of this pin. not being tight. I think a solution here might be bolts top and bottom. So a few modifications I think upcoming on this, on the wings for next winter. I think it was a pretty good mod to make. So I've got some yard work scheduled for the summer, a lot of grading, you know, landscaping. So I'm going to be using this blade on the tractor probably as a dozer blade more than anything else. And to use it as a dozer blade, a neat feature this has is these clips that are on the back. You just unhook that, pull that pin out, drop it down here. If you can get it to fit around that piece right there, put the pin back in. Like that. So by having that around there, the blade now won't lay down these springs here. When you're plowing in the winter, if you hit anything, you want your blade to dump, but not when you're grading. You don't want it to dump because you want to push what's in front of it. So we put those clips on there. There's one goes on the other side, but I lost the pin to it last winter, so I put a nut and a bolt in it now. Alright, so that'll keep my blade from dumping. So now I can use it as a dozer blade. Isn't that handy? So now what I want to do is take these front chains off. So I'm going to start the tractor and raise the wheels up by lowering the blade. Take the tensioners off here. Those little springs, they work some good. Although sometimes, well, I lost one on the other side, but I forget where I got those springs, but I'm glad I found them. Alright, so this should just unhook there, and unhook there. I have to remember I've got one link. So chains come off a lot easier than go on, that's for sure. Alright, good chance now to check the wheel. The shape fits in. Doesn't look too bad. Inside the note. Not bad. Here's another thing I want to show you too while I'm here. This vent cap. If I get it off, if I get a better wrench. Excuse me. This vent cap, remember I did a video too one time from my neighbor Glenn, who has the exact tractor I have, the GC 2300. And the front spindles leaked. The seals were blown out at the bottom, and he did a nice, very nice job changing those seals. And he hasn't had a leak since. My front end is leaking as well, but what I did was, instead of changing the seals, if I look in here, I see I've got more than enough oil in the front end. But what I did to try to solve the problem, what I thought was happening was pressure was building up in the case, this gear case, axle case and whatnot, and when the pressure builds up, it's got to go somewhere, so it would blow the seal out. That was the weakest point. So what I found was, if I can find the hole here, oh, right there at the top, I took a little tiny drill, I think it was a 30-second drill, drilled a hole in the top of this, and that goes right through into the case. The case is split here open on the side. It's meant to be a breather, but for some reason or other, the hole in the top was never put there. But anyway, once I did that, just that little tiny hole there, I've had minimal amount of leaking out of my differential, out of my spindle seals. So that's not a bad idea to do that. See how this plug is, it's made with this split in it right here. so that it can breathe, but it wasn't able to get out the top till I put that little hole in the top. And now, will I just show you? The axle is a little tipped, it's low on my side, but you can see there the oil level is only supposed to be halfway up the spur gear on the axle, and it's covering that spur gear, so it's showing now that there's too much oil in there, but I'm on a bit of a slant, so all the oil in the gearbox is running to this side. If we could see on the other side, which we can't because there's no plug like this, then we would notice that it was probably showing pretty low on the other side. So that's a pretty good amount of oil in there. I think I only added oil to this transaxle maybe one time last winter, so that little vent hole in the top there did the job. So I think the snow pusher mod was a success. I'm going to keep that. A few little changes I have to make. I have to make a new spacer block for the side, but I think I'll do that. And also the bars, that the braces there that hold the wings in place. I think that tubing was too light, too thin walled. But I think I have a couple of more pieces of stronger tubing that came off an old handlebar off a lawnmower or something. Maybe I can use that because that's a little stiffer, eh? So I'll make up a couple of new braces. And then I got the chains off and I switched my snow blade into a dozer blade. So I'm all ready now for the summer. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the little video. I hope you're having a good time wherever you are, and I hope the weather's changing, because if we're due, holy crow, the weather's been terrible the last April. No, not a good month, April. So hopefully May we'll make the switch. Thanks for watching, folks. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.